So, welcome to Unit 5 um, live discussion. This week, we are taking a look at relational database management systems and SQL. And we're going to look at how do you analyze and apply JDBC API. And also going to take a look at using the techniques of processing SQL statements with the JDBC. So first of all, what is a database? So in simple words, data can be facts related to any object in consideration. A database is a systematic collection of data. They support storage and manipulation of data. Databases make data management very easy. So what is a database management system? Well, a DBMS is a collection of programs which enables its users to access database, manipulate data, reporting, and representation of data. Well, what are types of database management systems? Well, there's four major types. One is called hierarchical. This type of database management system employs the parent-child relationship of storing data. There is the network database management system. And this type of database management system supports many-to-many relations. And then there's the relational database management system. This type of database management system defines database relationships in forms of tables, also known as relations, therefore called relational database management system. And the fourth major type is object-oriented relation database management systems. This type supports storage of new data types. So what is JDBC? Well, it's Java database connectivity. It's how Java connects to a database system. So Java database connectivity is an applicational program interface. It's an API specification for connecting programs written in Java to the data in popular databases. The application program interface lets you encode access request statements in SQL, structured query languages, that are then passed to the program that manages the database. So JDBC is your Java database connection. So I want to take a look at these, the slides for this week. So as we talked about, as I mentioned early on, this week we're looking at databases and the JDBC. So this will be an introduction to database management systems. We'll look at tables, rows, and columns. Introduction to the SQL select statement. How do you insert rows? Updating and deleting rows. Creating, deleting tables. And create a new database with the JDBC. And what we said the JDBC is, it's the Java database connectivity. It's how Java connects to the data. We're also looking at scrollable result sets, a result set metadata, displaying query results in the JTable, relational data, and advanced topics. So storing data in traditional text or binary files has its limits. A DBMS is software that is specifically designed to work with large amount of data in an efficient and organized manner. A Java application interacts with a DBMS which manipulates the data. So you have your Java application, you have your database management system, and you have your data. The application sends a command to the database management system. And the Java application interacts with a DBMS which manipulates the data. The DBMS executes the command on the data. So here, a Java application interacts with a DBMS which manipulates the data. So the application sends a command to the database management system. The DBMS executes the command on the data. The DBMS sends the result back to the application, and the application displays the results to the user. So what provides connectivity to the DBMS? That's what's called the JDBC, Java Database Connectivity. It's the technology that makes communications possible between the Java application and the database management system. The Java API contains numerous JDBC classes that allow your Java applications to interact with a DBMS. So SQL sends commands to the database management system. So what does SQL stand for? It stands for Structured Query Language. It's a standard language for working with database management systems. It consists of several key words. Its statements or queries or strings passed from the application to the database management system using API method calls. And SQL serves as instructions for the database management system to carry out operations on its data. So to use a JDBC to work with a database, you will need a database management system. Java DB, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server, DB2, MySQL. I'm more familiar with your SQL Server and your Oracle databases. I have used some MySQL, a little bit similar to SQL, but I prefer SQL Server or Oracle. So the examples that we created in this chapter were created with Java DB. So JDBC classes, Java comes with a standard set of JDBC classes: Java.SQL, JavaX.SQL. So in order to use a JDBC, you have to get a connection to the database. You must pass a string containing a SQL statement to the database. If the SQL statement has results to send back, they will be sent back as a result set. When finished working with a database, close the connection. Again, you must have a connection to the database in order to use the JDBC in a Java application. There's a static driver manager get connection method is used to get a connection to the database. Database URL is a string known as a database URL, and a simple database URL has the following general format: the protocol, subprotocol, and the database name. Protocol is a database protocol. Subprotocol varies depending on the type of the database management system, and database name is the name of the database. So, for example, CoffeeDB database is the database name. There's the driver manager for getting connection. So let's talk about tables, rows, and columns. So a database, DBMS, stores data in a database. A database is organized into one or more tables. Each table holds a collection of related data organized into rows and columns. A row is a complete set of information about a single item divided into columns. Each column is an individual piece of information about the item. So there's tables, there's rows, and there's columns. This is how a database is organized into tables, rows, and columns. For example, this is the coffee database table. You see the description, type of coffee, the product number, and the price. Oh, one too many. Okay. So columns in a database are assigned a SQL data type. So there's integers, there's characters, varchar, real, double, decimal, and date. So the description column data type is a char. Product number column data type is a char 10. It's a string with a fixed length of 10 characters. The price column data type is double. So what's a, oh, we'll go back one, too fast here. So what's a primary key? This is good to know. So a primary key is a column that holds a unique value for each row in a database table. In the coffee table, product number is the primary key. A primary key can be the combination of several columns in a table. So what is the SQL select statement? The select statement is used to retrieve the rows in a table. Select columns from table. So example 1 would be select description from coffee. Select the description price from coffee. Select all from coffee. The asterisk character can be used to retrieve all columns in the table. So SQL statements are free form. SQL keywords and table names are case sensitive, which that means that how you actually name it, you must ask for it. So once you've established a connection, you must get a reference to a statement object before you can issue a SQL statement to the database. A statement object has an execute query method that returns a reference to a result set object. A result set object has an internal cursor, which points to a specific row in the result set. The row to which it points is the current row, initially positioned just before the first row, and it can be moved from row to row to examine all the rows. So a result set object's next method moves the cursor to the next row in the result set. And that is result.next. A result set object's next method, oh, too fast here. A result set object's next method returns a Boolean value. It's true if it's successfully moved to the next row. It's false if there are no more rows to go to. So when it gets to the list of the rows, it's gonna stop. This is how you get columns in a result set object. Okay. Result set methods. This is what it returns. I'll post these. I'll post this PowerPoint into the announcement section when I post the video recording. So what does the where clause do? The where clause can be used with the select statement to specify a search criteria. For example, select columns from the table where criteria is equal to where price is equal to 12. For example, select all items asterisk from coffee where the price is greater than $12. And you'll see it returns 2 items, Kona medium and Kona dark. So these are your standard SQL relational operators: greater than, less than, greater than or is equal to, less than or equal to, not equal to. Notice a few SQL relational operators are different than in Java. SQL equal to operator is equal. SQL not equal to operator is the greater than, less than, and greater than symbols. Here's how you do a string comparison in SQL. So string comparisons are in SQL are case sensitive. So you would select asterisk from coffee, it means select all, where the upper description equals French roast dark. The upper or lower function converts the string to uppercase or lowercase. It can help prevent case sensitive errors when comparing strings. This is the like operator. Oh, one too many. In SQL, the lock operator can be used to search for a substring, using the AND or the OR. The and OR operators can be used to specify multiple search criteria in a where clause. For example, select asterisk, which means all, from coffee, where the price is greater than $10 and price is less than 14. The AND operator requires that both search criteria be true. For example, select asterisk from coffee, where description like dark or product number like 16%. The OR operator requires that either search criteria be true. This is the order by clause we just talked about. So mathematical functions, you have the average function, the sum, the minimum and max functions, and the count function. How do you insert rows? Well, this is the insert statement in SQL. Inserts a row into a table. So insert into coffee, the values Honduran dark, the product number is 22-001, and the price is $8.65, $8.65. So how do you insert rows with JDBC? To issue an insert statement, you must get a reference to a statement object. For example, use the string SQL statement equals insert into coffee plus product number, price, description, plus values, plus, product number, price, and the type of coffee that it is. For this example, it's Honduran dark. How do you update rows? How do you update an existing row? Well, in SQL, the update statement changes the contents of an existing row in the table. So you update table, set column equal value, where the criteria. The table is a table name, column is a column name, value is the value to store in the column, criteria is conditional expression. So for example, update coffee, you set the price to $9.95, and you set the description to be Galapagos organic medium. You can update more than one row, and this is how you do that. So update the price of all rows where the product number begins with 21. So update coffee, set price to $4.95. So what this is going to do, it's going to change the price for every row. So how do you update rows with JDBC? To issue an update statement, you must get a reference to a statement object in Java. So you string the SQL statement, update coffee, set price, where, description equals Brazilian decaf. Int rows equals statement, execute update. And the rows indicates the number of rows that were changed. You can delete rows using the delete statement. Delete from the coffee, which is the name of the database, where the product number is equal to 20-001. It's going to delete a single row in the coffee table where the product is 20-001. To issue a delete statement, you must get a reference to a statement object. You notice that's a common occurrence. With JDBC, you must get a reference to the statement object. Whether you're adding a row, deleting a row, inserting a row, this is an example of how you do that. So creating tables with a create table statement. This is how you create tables. Column name, data type. So table name is the name of the table. Column name is 1. Column name 1 is the name of the first column. Data type 1 is the SQL data type for the first column. Column name 2 is the name of the second column. Data type 2 is the SQL data type for the second column. We're basically creating a table right now. And then we're going to insert some data into it. So you use the create table statement. And the name of the database is customer. You name char address, city, state, zip. This creates a new table named customer with the columns name, address, city, state, and zip. So the primary key qualifier is used to specify a column as a primary key. So you can remove a table with a drop table statement. Oh, go back one. We talked about creating tables, and we're talking about removing a table with the drop table statement. And we're talking about creating a new database with Java DB. So the create true attribute creates a new database when appended to the database URL. For example, JDBC Derby Entertainment DB create equal true. This talks about scrollable result sets. This is where the cursor moves both forward and backwards. Changes made to the database do not appear. Type scroll sensitive, cursor moves both forward and backward. Changes made to the database appear as soon as they are made. You can set the result set current concurrency levels to read only or to updatable, concur updatable. Concur read only and concur updatable. So these are the result set navigation methods: first, last, next, and previous. Pretty explanatory. There's relative rows and there's absolute rows. So relative rows moves the cursor to the number specified by the rows argument relative to the current row. Absolute rows moves the cursor to the row number specified by the rows argument. So how do you determine the number of rows in a result set? Well, you do result set navigation methods can be used to determine the number of rows in a result set. So what is metadata? That's basically metadata refers to data that describes other data. A result set object has a metadata that describes the result set. Can be used to determine many things about a result set. This is about result set metadata. It's an interface in the Java SQL package. This is a few result set metadata methods: int get column count, string get column name, string get column type name, int get column display size, string get table. So this talks about the JD table class. The JD table class is a swing component that displays data in two-dimensional tables. So this is how you set up a simple JTable component. This is how you display query results in the JTable. Select asterisk from coffee. You hit submit, and this window will appear next and gives you your query results. So basically, you ask to select everything from the coffee database. So what's a foreign key? A foreign key is a column in one table that references a primary key in another table. It creates a relationship between the table. Remember we talked about relational databases earlier. So example, unpaid order table. Customer number is a foreign key. Product number is a foreign key. Order date, quantity, cost. So this following statement creates the unpaid order table in the coffee database. So if you want to search for unpaid orders, you could do a search for that specific. You look for table, it's unpaid order, and you look for the customers that has not paid, order date, the quantity, and the cost. So entity relationship diagram shows the relationship between tables. Remember we talked about an entity relational database. Primary keys are denoted with a PK. Lines drawn between the tables show how they are related. So the customer number, so in the customer table, you're going to have a customer number. In the unpaid order table, you're going to have a customer number. And then in the coffee table, you're going to have the product number, which relates to the unpaid order table product number. So primary keys are denoted with a PK. So one-to-many relationships between the customer and unpaid order. One row in the customer table may be referenced by many rows in the unpaid order table. Many-to-one relationships between the unpaid order and coffee tables. Many rows in the unpaid order table may reference a single row in the coffee table. So one-to-many relationships between coffee and unpaid order. And there's many-to-one relationships with unpaid order and customer. So how do you join data from multiple tables? Well, in SQL, you must use qualified column names in a select statement if the tables have columns with the same name. A qualified column name takes the following: the table name and the column name. So you select the customer, customer number, customer name, unpaid order, order date from the customer unpaid order coffee, where unpaid order customer number equals customer to customer number, and unpaid order product number equals coffee product number. The search criteria tells the database managers how to link the rows in the table. This is an example of that. The place order application uses a relational database, CoffeeDB. It requires the coffee, the customer, and unpaid orders table. Transactions. It's an operation that requires multiple database updates. It's known as transactions. For a transaction to be complete, all of the steps involved in a transaction must be performed. There's comment and there's rollback. The term comment refers to making a permanent change to a database, and rollback refers to undoing changes to a database. So by default, the Java database connectivity connection class operates in auto comment mode. In auto comment mode, all updates that are made to the database are made permanent as soon as they are executed. When auto comment mode is turned off, changes do not become permanent until a comment command is executed. A rollback command can be used to undo changes. To turn auto comment off, you call the connection class and set auto comment method, pass the argument to false. To execute a comment command, you call the connection class comment method. Execute a rollback command, you call the connection class rollback method. Con.comment, con.rollback. This is a JDBC transaction example. What are stored procedures? Many commercial database systems allow you to create SQL statements and store them in the database management itself, DBMS itself. These SQL statements are called stored procedures. They're stored SQL statements or stored database statements. They can be executed by other applications using the database. Ideal for SQL statements that are used often in a variety of applications. Usually execute faster than SQL statements that are submitted from applications outside the database management system. Each DBMS has its own syntax for creating a stored procedure in SQL. So to execute a stored procedure, you must create a callable statement object. It's an interface in java.sql package. So let me escape out of this. Again, this week we looked at we took a look at relational database management systems and SQL, and we determined that how Java connects to database systems or DBMSs is through the JDBC, the Java Database Connectivity API. And it uses the techniques of processing SQL, statements with JDBC, including retrieving data, inserting, updating, and deleting, creating and deleting tables, and displaying results sets. So that concludes Unit 5 weekly live discussion. I will get this posted up onto in the announcements section, and I will also include these links in this PowerPoint presentation. So this is the 5th week of our course, only one more week to go. If any of you are missing any assignments, you still have time to get caught up with those assignments. Key here is that we learn the material, but you also have to complete the assignments so you can get credit for it. Hope everybody has a good week and a good weekend. And if you're into the NCAA March Madness, I hope you get to catch a couple of games this weekend. Anyway, everybody have a good week and a good weekend. Bye-bye.